We're live. Come and join us.
You and I, we're always on the edge. We fight and make up.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up?
Oh my goodness.
We got dogs barking because.
The music's not still going.
Oh gosh. It is like a zoo in here. Hey.
This is not best practices
whoa.
for doing a live stream on the internet.
Just see, we turn our voices up, and the dogs sense our stress level, or not stress. What do you call it? Anxiety, the aura, I guess. But yeah, if y'all heard that big bark, there's Booger back there. Hey, Booger. He's out there. He's in here. Hey, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another live stream with Cullen and Katie.
Katie's not on this one yet. Here she is. Hey,
I just got the notification too.
Yeah.
Where my notification gang squad at?
Instagram storying it so everybody would have the link and could come join us. And I forget that the camera's up here these days. Do we look like we are on a commercial for the SEC Network, University of Alabama football? Because
well, back to you,
it's
Jan.
Friday, if y'all don't know, and we're going to line up the tight ends on the I formation, and do a long pass down the field for a Hail Mary.
You can light up my tight end, Jan.
Well, Rick, let me just tell you about this teabag.
Whoa, hey! Tight ends and teabags. Welcome to another fall festival fun game.
Yes, we are having tea bags. It's still hot as blue blazes, but Cullen said he wanted some tea, and I said, well, trust yourself, hubby. Get some tea.
Couldn't have planned that any better.
I know, right? That was not planned.
Let me take a swig.
Let me read you the note from my tea bag. It says...
Oh, I threw mine away. Mine said...
What? Let me go. Live righteously and love everyone. You will build up around you an aura of light and love.
I just said the word aura without even knowing what your teabag said. That's crazy.
When did you say aura?
When I talked about how our aura went up when the dogs sensed it and they started going crazy.
Oh, you sure did. I wasn't paying attention because I was posting my Insta stories. See how much you lose when you're absorbed in social media? Get off your phones. I'm just kidding. Wait, y'all are all on your phones listening to us. Don't leave.
From school. If you're at school, tell your teachers we said what's up, and that you are actually learning. You're learning a lot right now because we're about to get into some numbers, some math, some fun things like that.
Ooh, somebody's going to the game tomorrow. The Alabama game. Is it in Tuscaloosa? Is it? I don't know. We're not going.
I can't remember. Who is it against? South Carolina.
Is that tomorrow?
I think it's at South Carolina.
You've never seen us do a live? Oh my gosh, well welcome. It's going to be the most professional thing you've ever seen.
Let's go,
I'm just kidding,
Sassy Sammy.
It is at South Carolina. It's in South Carolina, not in Tuscaloosa. So you must be in South Carolina, or maybe you're not. I don't know.
Oh man, okay,
Pizza money.
Pizza money.
What's that mean?
What's pizza money?
Was that like a dare that your friend said, see if you can get him to say pizza money? If it was, it worked.
Pizza money.
Okay, let's ask if y'all like your tea really hot, or do you like it to cool off? Because I'm about to go get a piece of ice.
Oh, you gotta let it just chill, and then you chug it. So you get all the tea bags in your mouth at once.
Stop. Okay, well.
Y'all have grown up with us. Y'all are a little older and mature these days. Y'all can handle these adult-themed jokes, right?
Yes.
And if you're a little young, I'm sorry. It's a tea bag. And it sometimes can get in your mouth if you leave it in your cup too long. Anyway, first of all, 2 days ago, last live stream, thank you so much for all the support and love and all the super chats. And we talked about it afterward. It was kind of one of those things that just kept happening, and we kept just kind of jumping into him. And we decided that this time we're going to save all the super chats for the end. So stick around, and we're going to throw them. We popped them up on the screen last time, and so we're going to do them towards the end, like last 10 minutes or something, however long it takes.
Or maybe we'll like pop some up in the middle or something once we get to a stopping point, because last time we kept interrupting ourselves, and I know it's frustrating for you guys because we would be talking about something and then we would totally lose our train of thought, and so yeah, that was a little bit crazy. So we will do that. Let's go ahead and read the 2 that we have. I've seen 2. You see 2? Or okay, I don't know how to keep up with them because they aren't like they are on regular YouTube. Hey, Holly, what's up? Busy at work, so you can't stay. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day at work.
That's amazing. Just a little drop in.
Little drop in. Hey.
Drop in the hat.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's like we're on the side of the street, and she's just we're performing. We're performing, and she's just there to support us.
Street performers. That's what we're doing.
What we are. And the next one, real
that.
quick, before we jump into the topic for today.
Samantha, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, so the title of this video, if you got the title, I don't even know. I think you probably did. Was a relationship update. So we were going to talk a little bit about that. And we're gonna talk a little bit about
and what that involves.
I'm gonna have to get a piece of ice.
Okay, so like, what was it? A year ago, 2 years ago? I don't know. My brain was in another whole world, and Katie came to me with this thing called.
It was a year ago.
A year ago, she came to me with this thing called an Enneagram or something. An Enneagram. I don't know.
In the light of being like super real, can I just actually tell them what happened? Because I feel like sometimes like saying things. Makes things process. We were on a date night, and I had taken it. Why are you laughing? It wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I guess it is looking back for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm about to say?
That I was completely spaced on it and didn't care.
So anyways, we were on a date night, and I had taken it, and I'd been like listening to people talking about it, and so I was like super excited about it, and I already was annoyed because Cullen was kind of like half checked out of dinner anyway. So I was like, here is the link. Like, we were sitting at the table together. I texted it to him, and I was like, here, take it. Well, if it tells you anywhere about where he was in his life, he fell asleep at the table, sitting with me at the table, taking this thing.
Yeah.
And then...
That's how boring it was to me at the time.
That's exactly what it was. So then we walked out. And this is not to, like... I mean, this is part of your story. I feel like after we listen to the 3 stuff, I'm like, this isn't to, like, put your... negative things out there. It's to like tell your story of what you've overcome and how amazing that is. But then I got all pissed off, and we got in a fight, and then we walked to the car, and I literally like sat down to like text the babysitter and tell her we were coming home, and I looked over and he was asleep in the passenger seat, like snoring. So that's where we were in life at that point, and we are super grateful to not be at that point in life right now.
Yeah.
But it was a really rough thing, and I feel like for me, sorry, I know you were going on a whole different train of thought.
Oh no, this is actually good.
But,
like a year ago, I would have taken a total different defense or offense to this, but this is good. Like you said, it's part of my story.
Because of what we've learned, you've learned that not just for me because of who I am, but because of like what we've been through, that it's helpful for me from my side to like say it, to process it, so that because I like need to feel heard, I guess.
Yes.
Like I need to feel like you realize that wasn't just what it was to you at the time, which was just like a random funny thing. But anyways, where was I going with the rest of that? I said something about, oh dang it,
you texted the babysitter, and then
but then you said
taking the test the first time, and how much of a bad experience that was.
Maybe somebody else can tell me where I was going. No, it was something else about, I was just going to say, I found it, it was there. I was just going to say how it's kind of been, this is an example of one of the many things that's been an important part of the process is for him understanding and for me to be able to express that there are certain things that come up that may seem like, oh, we're just going to talk about this, or hey, take this test again. And to you, it's like, oh yeah, I was going to do that a year ago and I never did. But to me, it like puts me back in a whole state of like what just came out of my mouth. I literally like relive the night in my head, and I don't want to, I don't like to, but it's like my brain has to replay it all for some reason.
Yes. I don't know why our dogs keep barking. You just need to get on that.
They're being extra protective because there's an extra dog here.
I guess so. And we'll kind of dive into this in a little while, probably more in depth. But that's one of the things as far as my Enneagram number goes that I despise is when people bring up the past, because I'm so forward thinking, I guess, in my number in a sense. And I never realized that. Like, I don't despise it now because I know that you need to hear it and say it and process it. But you like, I don't know.
I think you used to think I meant it.
I used to take it. Yeah, I used to like be like, why are you doing this again? We've already been through this. We've already done this. We're over this. We're on to the next step. Blah blah blah. but I totally get it.
What you don't realize is it's played through my head like a million times. So when I say it for like the 1,000,001th time out loud, to me it's just like, oh hey, I've been thinking about this whole time, and you're like, why are you all of a sudden bringing that back up?
Yeah,
like, it's been there. Hey Judy, it's not a replay. You actually caught us live today.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, we saw your comment yesterday.
Yes.
It's like I always miss these, but no, we're live right now, Judy.
You are on it.
And we do read y'all's comments. But what was I going to say about the whole... Oh, I was going to ask a question to you guys. Have y'all taken the Enneagram test and not fallen asleep the first time you took it? And if you have, what number are you? Because that will...
I want to just see numbers in the comments because I just want to see what everybody
see if
is.
anybody's taken it and all that. I'll pop something up on the screen for those of y'all that don't know. The Enneagram...
Should we tell them what we are first?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you follow us on social, you probably do know what we are. But let's just see. So we got this one and this one. So these are the 9. There's 9 different numbers that you can fall in. The perfectionist, the helper. Y'all try to guess too what we are if you don't know.
Oh yeah, if you don't know.
The perfectionist, the helper, the achiever, the romantic, the observer, the questioner, the adventurer, and the asserter. And then there's another...
you got a 4 and a 9 in the comments. Okay, keep going.
There's another diagram on the screen there that kind of breaks off the wings of what goes together. And if you notice on that diagram, the 3, 6, and 9 are like the core, I guess.
The triangle.
Like
triangle.
the hierarchy of the diagram, which is really interesting. And the more I've like dove into this and actually retook the test and started thinking about it, I've been like looking at podcasts and downloaded a book, and I'm just like, whoa, how you know this?
Yes, there's so many things.
How are you doing this?
But I think the cool thing about taking a test like this and discussing it with your spouse, or like knowing what somebody else is understanding things like that, like knowing that the things about me that whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We got a 2. Wait, you're a 2 and is that your wing or whatever? Is it 3? 2 and wing 3. 6 the first time you took it, and a 9 a year later. That's an interesting topic.
Thing. We talked about that. Like, could you change over time?
Because I've changed so much in the year since I took it. There's several things as we were listening to stuff about mine. I was like, I was like that, but I feel like I'm not as much like that anymore.
Yes.
2, 3, 7, 6, 9. There's several that I've never seen anybody say they are. Like
what do you mean? Like
I've never seen a 1. I've never seen somebody say, "Oh, I'm a 1."
Yeah. I was gonna get a link and post it in the comments if it'll let me to the Enneagram test, because somebody wanted to just take it. And
if you just Google free Enneagram test, it should pop up.
And
but
yeah, it's ENNEAGRAM. Yeah, just Google it and it'll pop up. And then you need to take it. It's like it's just a 14-page thing, and I think that's part of what got me is like I hate taking quizzes and tests, and I thought I was being quizzed at that time mentally. I was like, this is just a quiz, just to see how crazy I am type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
look at that! I just copied it on my phone and pasted it on your computer.
What is
really cool.
life?
Okay, I just commented it.
And then,
how do you block people on this thing? Can you? Wait, hover. And then open like that.
I don't know.
Sorry.
No,
don't add that to the podcast. Okay, I don't know how to do that.
But so, there's the website right there. If you wanted to check it out, go check it out and see what you are. But it's just one of those like never, always, sometimes. Is that it? Never, sometimes, always type things, and they ask you questions. But they repeat questions in a different way, and I'm like, you're trying to trick me. And then I'm like, how are they going to know this? But you have to do it in like a calm mindset, nothing else going around, and you have to like just answer honestly, I think was the biggest thing. Because I wanted to like try to trick the system or, like fake it out, even though it's really weird because there's some questions I was like not 100% sure about. And I was like, how are they going to know? And then in the end, I was like, whoa.
That's how they do know, because those ones you aren't sure about are the ones that, like, tell them who you are or whatever. So
if y'all don't know, I am or what do you do? Do you want to talk about what we are?
Yeah, it's legit. Somebody asked. Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah, it's like a thing.
No, it is. If you search, like, if you search on Instagram the hashtag, probably Twitter or whatever you like to use, Facebook. Search the hashtag Enneagram, and you'll get a bunch. If you search Enneagram and your number, like hashtag Enneagram, 2 or whatever, then you'll get lots of information that will make you be like, Anyways, I am a 6.
You are a 6.
And my wing is a 5, whatever that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't really know what it is.
And I just realized this is a thing we took because you can find your kids' Enneagram numbers too. And this was a screenshot I took from one about
you did the
kids.
kid one?
But it still has a lot to do with you as well. Like, so I'm just gonna leave it.
This is so Gaines too. Gosh, this is crazy.
So have you noticed that you ever worry about safety more than other
Absolutely.
people? React
Absolutely.
to extreme conscience. This is so crazy, and I think this is what is the best part about this test is like literally, like you said, I think figuring out who your partner is. And
this is kind of hard because I feel like this is more kid stuff. I'm like,
yeah, maybe so.
I don't know, but we can keep reading it.
Yeah, just let's see. Move it over here. Give me another screenshot.
I'll find you one. Talk about something else for a minute.
But one of the biggest things is with Katie over the years, she'll like, for instance, when we were about to go on a beach trip. This was like back in the worser parts of our relationship.
Yeah.
We'd be about to go on a beach trip or a vacation of some sort, and we would have to. In my mind, I felt like again I was being either quizzed or finger pointed at, or you better not act like this or do this scenario. But in her, now that I realize what was really going on, she was just pulling her 6 out and just was like taking care of every crazy scenario or bad scenario that she thought might happen and having a plan for it. And over time, I've realized that this is what she likes to do, this is what she needs to do, and this is how she acts when we have uncertainty in our lives in a certain situation. So for her to sit there and be like, okay, so now what if you're walking down the beach and somebody comes up to you and offers you some drugs? What are you going to do? And I'm like, first of all, the trip's in 2 weeks. Second of all, what? Why would anybody offer me drugs? You never know.
Because it's happened.
If anybody's going to offer you.
Happened.
Yeah, well, that's true. It has happened in the past. But, like, it's just like, what? What are you even talking about? So, and then that's just
pull it over here.
That's just demeaning to her when I question it like that. Like, yeah, what are you even talking about? So, I don't know, it's not going to let you...
Can I zoom it in?
Zoom it in. No, you have to crop it previously.
All right, guys, look, wait. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we're noobs at
just
this.
X out of it. Hit the X. Right there on the side. There you
go.
So, yeah, just having that pre-planning scenario, worst case scenario is one of her things.
If you, like, know a 6 or are a 6 or whatever else, or learning about a 6, then you'll know that part of that is not just, like you said, for me to feel like, in control or whatever else, but it's basically my way of feeling like security and predictability and all of those things, which it's so interesting because, like, really before we knew all this stuff, was it for my birthday? Cullen was like, what do you want for your birthday, or Valentine's Day or something? It was like right after we were overcoming the stuff we were overcoming, and he was like, what do you want? And what did I say? I can't remember exactly. I said, I want
predictability, security and love.
Or something like that. And it's like, to me, I felt like that was due to our situation and what we had been going through, but I mean, that's just like me in life.
Yeah. So the 6 is...
Hang on, there's another one that's bullet points. Where'd I go?
I got it. The 6 is the committed, security-oriented type. 6s are reliable, hardworking, responsible, and trustworthy, excellent troubleshooters. They foresee problems and
always foresee any problem that could possibly happen in life. That is my job. But can also become defensive, evasive, and anxious, running on stress while complaining about it. That's so true. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out, and this is so annoying, blah, blah, blah. They can be cautious and indecisive, but also reactive, defiant, and rebellious, which is interesting. They were talking about that today, and I was like, I don't know about that. They typically have problems with self-doubt and suspicion, hello, I made freaking trust yourself merchandise. And that's like, as we've been learning about this was like the core of the type 6 was like not being able to trust yourself.
Yes, that was insane. Seeing those words, those two words, trust yourself. I was like, what? You just made merch like that?
Yeah.
This was before we even like knew what the Enneagram
was
about.
In the middle of designing the trust yourself stuff when I found out my Enneagram number, and I posted it on Instagram, and I was like, what the heck? I'm currently designing these trust yourself shirts. At their best, internally stable and self-reliant, courageously championing themselves and others. I don't know. That description, it makes sense, but I feel like it's very wordy. Where's the one that's bullet points? There it is. Let's see. Basic fear of being without support or guidance. And that's the whole, like, not trusting yourself thing, too, because it's like, if you feel like you're not going to have guidance, then it's like, well, shoot, I can't trust myself to make the right decision. So, like, what if I don't have guidance? That's going to be crazy. Basic desire to have security and support. And then, oh, that's me. Enneagram 6 with a 5 wing is the defender. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
With a 7 wing is the buddy.
Like you defend people, like you're like, no, he didn't do that. He didn't
or are you defending yourself? You're like defensive, I guess. Guess I do tend to kind of be defensive.
How many times early on, even in our relationship, and even today, like, but because of my mindset or my state of mind or whatever, you would always say, I just want you to tell me what to do.
Yes.
Or I would just want you to just, like, take control and, like, call the power company and ask them about this bill.
But see, I didn't used to.
And now I'm like, what's wrong? What's it? Like, just because I'm more husband, father, clear-headed, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like as far as my mindset goes, actually, recently, I feel like I've been more like, can you just handle this? But previously, I was more like, no, let me call them because you're not going to ask them about this, and you're not going to do, like, I would be more worried about that kind of stuff. Or you would call them, and then I'd be like, well, they said this. Like, how are you going to just tell them that that's okay, and you're going to just pay that extra money? You know what I'm saying? Right. But I feel like that's some stuff that I've kind of been overcoming, is that my way is not always the right way. Like, there's more than one way to do things. You had just said something else that I was going to say something about. What is it?
How many times have we said this, and this? I wish you would just tell me what to do.
Oh, yeah. And I think the other part of that is something that I've always said is like, and you were like, I don't know. I guess it's just, I guess if you come from a background where you're like, I don't know, I guess it's the problem solver type thing. Like, I like to solve the problems and think about all the different ways that things can be done. So, like, if I'm not doing it right, tell me another way to do it, because certainly you've thought of 5 other ways to do this in your head, but you haven't, because that's not you. You know, like, I have, because that's how I am. And so when Cullen will do something, and I am in my head like, oh, but wait, there's like this way he could have done it, and this way he could have done it. So I'll be like, oh, but did you realize you could do this? And he takes that as me being like, you're an idiot, you did that wrong. But I'm the 6 that like comes up with every scenario of how you could possibly do this, try to figure out the best way to do it, which I think is part of the 5 wing. Like the researcher, the like making sure you know everything before you make a decision and all of that.
Which is good, and I mean, it's as annoying as it is sometimes, it's also good because there's other times where I'm like, I've learned over the past 12 years, obviously, but like just to like, hang on, let me talk to my wife about this first, because there's like 9 times out of 10 you always think about something else that I haven't thought about, and I'm like, oh yeah, but then we end up like getting in an argument about it because I've already got my mind made up, and I shouldn't have even asked you in the first place because you bring up all these other, like picking a freaking meal at the drive-thru is pulling teeth sometimes.
Torture.
And I shouldn't have. I'm just like, I shouldn't have been asked. I'm just gonna get what I.
And it's like, actually, the more I've learned about myself, the more it's comforting for me to just let you just pick me something, because I realize it's actually more stressful for me when I like try to pick the perfect thing. This is one reason why editing has been really, really hard for me, because
oh gosh.
Oh, dang. I mean, I can't just pick the first song that sounds good unless it just is absolutely exactly what I'm looking for, which rarely happens. But I'll have to listen. I'll be like, that's definitely the one. And so I'll write it down, but I'm like, but I need to make sure there's not something better. And so then I'll like go listen to more, and I'll write down like 5 of them, and then have to pick from those. And then I'm like, okay, I've got 5. Which one should I use? And Cullen's like, oh, dear Lord, why didn't you just choose the first one? They're all fine.
I'm going to tweet this real quick and say we're live. I didn't do that yesterday. Okay, and then, so I guess, what do y'all think we are? I mean, what do y'all think? I just typed in we're. What do y'all think I am?
Let us know what you think Cullen is, and then also if you are a 6 or have any thoughts on any of those things, let me know if some of the things that I've described are similar to your stuff. And then while y'all are guessing, what'd she say? I'm the same exact way. My husband feels the same as Cullen. And okay, so here you go. Send him this live stream and be like, look at this. Listen to these people. But it just has been so eye-opening to like understand each other. And that's been part of my like self-growth process over the past year is like, I don't know. I tend to be an empathetic person, but like actually understanding that just because somebody's different doesn't mean they're wrong.
Yeah,
or just because you don't get anxious about this or that, or you don't look at every option, doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you are doing things the way you do it.
Right.
So.
I heard something on a podcast one time that said, God, what was it? It's not that it's not that your way was wrong. It was just a different way to get it done, or something like that. It was a different way to look at it. Like your way wasn't the wrong way. It was just a different way. But at the end of the day, it still got done.
There was one in I think the same podcast that said the second best way to do something isn't wrong.
That's what it was. Something like that. Yeah.
Because if you feel like it was like, if you change a diaper a certain way, but then your husband does it a different way that's just perfectly fine, but it's different than the way you do it, then that doesn't mean it's wrong. The second best way is, or the second whatever.
And they even referenced like the wife went out of town, and so the husband was in charge of keeping the kids over the weekend. And as a dad, I'm sure you don't have the same standards necessarily as dinner goes and all that. We just heat up an Uncrustables, some macaroni and cheese, blah blah blah. And then the wife comes back in town, and the kids are perfectly fine. They're alive. They're happy. Everything's fine. But then it starts to slowly come out over the week what they had for dinner and stuff like this. And you could just sense that they were starting to like pull apart from each other as far as their feelings go. But then she like stepped back and was like, it wasn't necessarily the way I would have done it, but hey, he kept them over the weekend and they're still alive.
Yeah.
Like what's the big deal? Like why even worry about it anymore?
As long as they're not, upset about the kids aren't, I think that's something that we've kind of gotten into before. If it's like, I remember talking about this in a therapy session, like one of the very first ones we went to, and it was like a super stressful moment for us because I was like ready for the kids to go to bed. I was over and done with the day, and you were still just like piddling around playing with them or whatever. And I was like, okay, it's 9 o'clock. Like the kids have to go to bed. And this was a long time ago, or 2 years ago, I guess. And you were like, why do you always have to tell me what to do? Like, why do you have to make decisions? Blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, to me, that was stressing me out because I was like, I can tell that they're getting irritable. They're getting tired. It's going to be a meltdown, and that's going to be even worse. And I was like feeling bad for them more than I was trying to tell you what to do,
Yeah.
But then it's also my predictability, consistency, comfort.
Planning
like
ahead,
my day is freaking over. Like I'm ready for these children to go to bed.
Right.
So, anyways.
Okay, real quick. I saw somebody say Cullen is a 3. That's right.
That too,
That's right. I am a 3. Let me get down to that one. So again, this is a screenshot from one of the kids. Oh no, that wasn't it. I don't know if this is even relevant.
I can find it for you.
Let's see. Where is it? There it is. The achiever preserves to get things accomplished, often becomes the teacher's pet. I was probably a good teacher's pet back in the day, I feel like.
You are. You're the one who makes friends with every single cashier ever. Like that means you're, what's it called?
Relationable or relatable. Fits well into the social scene, likes to be clean, polished, and well dressed. I took a shower last night before bed, and then I took one this morning when I woke up.
You don't play with showers, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm going to shower like a couple times this week. Is that okay?
Has a great deal of energy, yet it's become overly tired from too much doing. Not really. I mean, I like go till I can't go no more. There's a song in there somewhere.
I saw a thing about 3s doing work or something, and it's like you're either all in, like not taking any breaks, or you're full on Netflix and chill. Like you either are like laid out on the couch, whereas I'm like I'm gonna lay on the couch and also do this
and see, there's a weird correlation there because like I think I don't know, just from the girl versus guy mental status, it's like I'm in my Netflix and chill box, and then I don't know, like it's kind of like the Enneagram numbers and then the physiological or the psychological, like it kind of meshes together in that sense because there are times where I'm like in my box, but then there's I don't know, that's so weird. That's an interesting thought. Okay, let's see. What you just send me here?
I'm sending you 2 different adult Enneagram things.
Is this one of them?
It's not adult content, though.
No, that was yours. Adult content. Let's see. Where is it? Right here. But so yeah, I'm an overachiever, and then just always going, and then I don't know. It's just real eye-opening.
I think the most interesting part of the 3 for me to understand about you was it should be that and that. It's those 2.
Okay.
The most interesting part to me is the ability to be like 2 different people, or
like a shapeshifter.
What's it called?
To
conform to different situations. And we were actually even talking about this. How I was just like, I feel like I don't even know who you really are. Like, are you changing your life and being the way that you want to be because you want to be that way, or because you feel like it's going to make me happy? And I think that's been part of my growth too, is that initially I was just like, no, this is how things need to be. Like, I have my like consistency and my patterns of things that they need to be this way. And then, but then it's like, I don't know. It's hard, and it's hard for me. Then I don't trust myself. I don't trust you, and I question myself because I'm like, well, I don't want you. I finally got to a point where I was like, if you want to live your life in a way that's not consistent with the person I want to be married to, then that's fine. You can go do that with somebody else. And I don't mean that to be rude, but I'm just like, I don't want to force you to be somebody you're not.
Yeah.
So then that's something that I worry about with the 3. I'm like, don't do something just because I want you to.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it's hard for me not to like take that personally or defensive, like, because I know what I feel in my heart, and we kind of talked about that too. It's like I don't know how to express my emotions or empathy or show empathy as well as much as I feel. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to explain.
Yeah, you say that, and to me, I'm just like, I just don't feel like, I feel like I'm overly empathetic, and you are like underly empathetic, and so to me it seems like you have no empathy at all, and to you it seems like I'm just way too empathetic,
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it too, I think, goes back to like childhood stuff too. And I was listening to a podcast this morning actually about that, just like how depending on how you were raised or what was going on in your life as a child, you wanted to prove your worth by achieving accomplishments and standing out in that aspect, and not, I don't know, like deflecting love, I guess. I don't know. It's deep. It's hard. It's
like
really
taking worth or getting your love from your worth. So like feeling like you were loved for what you did, not for who you are. That's how they explained it. Like feeling like you had to do well to be loved instead of being loved for who you are.
And there's so many times where we'll get in an argument or something, and my first response is to like list my resume or like my checklist.
Crazy. Yes.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't love you. I cleaned the gutters. I mowed the grass. I took out the trash. I cleaned the kitchen. And it's just, that's just my like initial thought. And I'm having to like train myself, not necessarily train myself, but like think in your number or your shoes, and it's not just Enneagram stuff. It's like a lot of stuff. Like kind of like how we talked about yesterday. We've like learned to fight better
Yeah,
because of that understanding of each other's. We had a generic background of like how we were raised and that kind of stuff, but our numbers and our personality traits, I don't know.
Well, it's interesting to me because it would like almost make me, does. I feel like you've gotten better about it because you realize it, but makes me like mad because I'll be like, going back to a year ago, well, why did you lie to me about this? Or I can't believe you're doing this again. well, like, what's the big deal? Because I cleaned out the gutters, I did this and this and this. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the fact that you, like, lied to me and said you were going to Home Depot when you actually were going to buy drugs or, you know, whatever else? What does that have to do with it? Well, I'm still, like, doing my duties as a husband or as a whatever. Wait, we never even read those.
People probably read those.
I don't know. I think it's like what you just said. But I feel like it's one of those things that it's been part of us understanding each other. And that I have to be kind of understanding of that, which some of it goes a little bit with the love languages, too.
I was just going to say, Rachel just asked, do you know your love languages?
And I would actually like to take that again, too. I know just because I know that mine is physical touch.
And being a 3 and not being, like, as empathetic or lovey as I should, I guess, as I should. I don't know, like, how you say, because there's not, like, I don't think there's a should, could, I don't know.
No, I just think you don't tend to be as empathetic. I mean, as whatever you were about to say.
As physical touching as you desire. But, just, I guess, taking my mask off, in a sense, and my putting my ego and my pride to the wayside to be the husband, the godly husband, and the person that you want me to be. I don't know. We got in an argument a couple weeks ago, and I was texting you, and sometimes doing text messages when you argue is a lot better. When you can't get everything out, because you can, like, write everything down, as opposed to, like, saying something and then getting interrupted, or vice versa. And we were arguing about something stupid, but I was, like, so sure that I was right, and I felt like I was right. And that was another, there's so many freaking relationship aspects to this stream right now. Like, we've been in a spot, I think, mentally, where it's been a competition as opposed to a team. It's like a power struggle versus a tag, you're at, like, let's work together to get this family thing going. And I don't know, it was real. When I went to go text you, I'm all over the place, my brain's like going, ah. When I went to go text you when we were arguing, I got the most emotional. I was sitting there in tears just writing, I'm sorry, you're right. Because I, like, put my ego aside. It was almost like I let you win. I don't want to say I let you win, because that goes back to the whole, like, power struggle. Because it shouldn't be a competition. But, like, the whole pride and the whole 3 in me of, like, I don't know, like, just being the person that you need me to be, or showing you that, like, that hurt, and it hurt bad, but it's those things that I need to experience, those tears that need to happen in order to grow. Or something. Well,
and I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's interesting to even hear you say that, because, like, when I saw you say that, first of all, I was like, what has he been reading? Like, he's, like, decided that he, like, understands. So to me, my first thought wasn't like, yes, I won. My first thought was like, oh, thank goodness he understands my perspective. Like, he gets that I wasn't trying to be, I don't, like, at this point, I'm like, what even was the fight about? I kind of don't, leaving the room, taking the kids out of the room. Was it that night? Night?
Brooks not putting on his clothes. And,
okay. And so I was, like, trying to explain that the way that I reacted wasn't intended to be the way that, you know, whatever. But it was, like, more of a relief to me, feeling, it goes back to this whole thing, feeling heard, like, feeling like you get it, you understand my perspective, and that's all that matters. Like, I don't care that, you know, who wins or whatever else. I just, like, need to feel heard. I need you to say, like, I understand, you know, because you know that I had thought about every different option of how I should handle the situation, because we had been arguing for, you know, several minutes or whatever else. And by the time I made my decision of, like, how the rest of the argument was going to go, I had played through all the scenarios in my head, you know, whereas to you, you're like, oh, well, what the heck, you know.
Well, that's another thing about this, the whole, like, figuring, I've been learning about stuff too, is women's brains are structured differently than guys' brains, and you have a better stability and capability to process things differently versus me just being sporadic, and I just get like shell shocked, and I just say stuff, and I'm just like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Versus you like logically stepping through the things, you're like 4 steps ahead, and I don't know. It's like I don't want to call it a chess match or because that's again like a competition. But putting yourself in the other person's shoes, or you can't make the move for them. You have to wait on them to make the move and then respond or react based on their move in an appropriate way, as opposed to just like throwing all the pieces off the board.
No, that makes sense. And like taking each other's perspective, I think we both are such I don't know what the word would be, like not strong people, or like not stubborn, I don't know, maybe stubborn, whatever the word is, that we just want like we just want to say our piece. And it's like when we would be arguing, it's like instead of understanding each other, then we're more just like, okay, but you need to hear what I have to say. And before you even acknowledge that you heard what the other person said or whatever, you know? So.
I mean, I actually talked about this in therapy last week, and to relate it to the Bible and stuff, it was because I was like, but I know I was right, and it hurt me so bad to give up my pride and my ego, and you know, and he was talking about how when Jesus fed the 5,000, 4,000, 9,000, I don't remember the exact number, and then when he walked on water, but like he told his disciples, he had like one piece of bread, and he said, give it, you know, this is all you have, but give everything that you've got away. And he did that, and then got blessed and fed, you know, Jesus ended up feeding all the people. And so it was just like, that's how you have to live your life, is like, you have to think about it like you have to give up everything, like your pride and your ego, to be the better person and stronger person. And yeah, it just kind of puts things into a whole different perspective.
And I think too, like when you admitting that somebody else is right doesn't necessarily mean that you're admitting that you're wrong. You know, so like just because you admitted that I was right didn't mean that you were wrong for getting upset in the situation, or didn't mean that, you know, like it's, I don't know. I think that's an important part of being able to like understand each other, is just because you do understand my perspective doesn't mean that you are wrong in your perspective or whatever, you know?
Totally.
We're all learning different things. So anyways, hope you all have enjoyed this therapy session so far.
Okay, let's get to some of the Instagram. If you haven't taken the Enneagram, go take it and tell us what you think in the comments if you're watching this back on the replay.
And if you enjoy hearing us talk about this, let us know that too.
Not just Enneagram, just like relationship stuff. Because
stuff.
We're constantly learning.
I would love to talk about this every day. I would go live and have these conversations every single day, but I don't know if y'all actually want to hear us talk about it every day. So let us know.
Okay. Speaking about talking.
What?
Kate's got a podcast out where she's gonna be doing some talking, so y'all go follow her.
I just put out episode 2 yesterday. I talked about the guilt of saying no and how to set up your boundaries without feeling guilty about them. So
do it. Cool. Okay, so let's see, is this gonna work? Okay. First Instagram question.
So if you missed it, on Wednesday we asked for your questions on Instagram. These are some answers.
Advice on how to co-parent with someone who is impossible to co-parent with.
Okay, this is a question somebody sent to me, and I feel like my answer may not be what you're looking for, but I would say that I honestly can't tell you the answer to that, but I would say that it sounds like you're in a situation where you need some help from a third party. In my opinion, it would be super helpful to work with, you know, whether it's like a therapist or somebody, to kind of talk about your perspective and like what is making it impossible. Like
it's kind of like what we just talked about, like understanding each other.
Like what's your perception of like why are they making it impossible? You know, like what is it about the situation? Anyways, and discussing that with a counselor is super helpful. I would also say, because I don't have a whole lot of information, like whatever the reason is that person seems impossible to you, you know, start looking into like the stuff on being able to set boundaries. That's a really important part of being able to co-parent with somebody. So I've got a list of books on my channel about that. Yep. There you go.
All right. The next one, we'll kind of rapid fire some of these too. Is what is something that you do, I guess, that wastes your time?
Something that you waste
Wordscapes. It's something that I do. And I just got into that recently, but it's one of those things like I'm the overachiever. I gotta win. I gotta compete.
I stopped at like level 150.
And there's like a tournament that's going on, and I'm like, hang on, I'm doing a tournament. I gotta win coins. Like, what does it matter
and
at the
I'm
end of the
like,
day?
the kids are like needing dinner. Instagram. I'm awful about that. I will just scroll and scroll and scroll. That's my worst thing.
A lot of y'all in the comments are taking the Enneagram like right now, and I'm seeing some of y'all's comments. That's awesome.
I'm a type 2. The
It's
helper.
so cool.
It's true.
It's so eye-opening to like hear or read like things that.
Oh, she said she teared up when she read the description.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're saying.
This morning I heard this guy wrote a song about your number, and it was just like I was like, oh my god, that hurts. It hurts. I don't know.
It's kind of crazy validating.
Yes,
it's like good validating.
Yes.
You're like, oh my gosh, other people feel so. I'm not crazy. Do you brush your teeth while you're in the shower? No.
No.
I can't even get in the shower without brushing my teeth. That is the absolute first thing I do when I wake up.
It is.
Like when I see people on Instagram that are like, oh man, I haven't showered today, haven't even brushed my teeth. I'm like, oh, how do you do that? I will like throw up from the taste in my mouth when I wake up.
No, I used to we talked about this the other day actually, having the shaver mirror and everything and all that, but they always fog up. It doesn't matter what brand you get. I don't know. This was 10 years ago maybe. They have something better. If y'all know of a good defogged shower mirror, let me know.
It's been a really long time since we've had one of these. They probably have like really fancy ones now.
All right, Cullen, what is your TikTok name? I can't find you on there. Well, it's funny that you ask that, because I can show you exactly what it is right now.
Shining, shimmering, splendid. There it is.
There it is.
TikTok,
it is
TikTok.
Culligan with 3 L's, and Katie's on TikTok as well.
And I'm Katie on the flip side.
So y'all go follow us over there.
I have not posted anything.
I'm trying to post some stuff. I'm trying to still figure it out, honestly. Like, it's taken a hot minute to figure it out, but I feel like once it's just one of those things that I do in my free time. I just engross myself into these apps and these fun things.
Which I used to get mad about, but now I'm like, that's your creative thing. Like, that's your creativity or whatever.
Right. What is one thing, unique thing about Brooks and Gaines that you absolutely love about them? You want me to go first? I can go. I absolutely love Gaines' creativity. Like, her creativity is just eye-opening and like makes me like think about life in a whole new light. And then Brooks is like a mini me, and so I feed off of his energy sometimes, probably too much. Like you said, like it's time to get the kids ready for bed, and I'm like, let's go, Ninja Warrior! Ah! And it's like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to be calming him down. There's times where you like text me and you're like, we're coming up from swinging. He's really calm. Don't hype him up. And I'll forget, and I'm like, he turns the corner, and I'm like, come here, dude. And then she's like, grr.
We're trying to work on calm, inner calm. God, okay, so from my 6 perspective, I'm like, I can't just give one answer because what if I say the wrong thing? And like, there's actually a lot of things I like about them, and I can't choose just one. I guess like if I just off the top of my head, like my initial thing is, and it's kind of about both of them. I love their love for like animals and creatures. I know that's kind of really random, but I think that says a lot about you kind of as a person. Like Brooks will be so gentle and like easy with a baby or with a little bug, or he's like, oh, look at the cute little dead cicada. I'm like, oh, yeah,
we have a dead cicada still sitting on the back of our toilet in there right now that's been there for about a week.
We do.
Because I don't want to move it, because he's like, he's like, oh look, there's my dead cicada every time he goes in there. So we're leaving a dead cicada on the back of our toilet until we have to show the house or something. But like, I was going the opposite route there. It's surprising because just yesterday I took Gaines on a golf cart ride to find worms. And I'm like, what? You can go from like singing Frozen to wanting to go find worms and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's surprising how dirty and grimy she likes to get.
Yes.
We had to go find
that was me
cats,
too.
worms, and turtles. And she made a checklist in her head.
Yes.
So is she a 3 or 6? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably she's too much like me.
Do your kids have chores? That's a good question. We've recently started kind of not like implementing chores necessarily, but like teaching them the value of earning money as a reward. I mean, how do you explain it? Like, well, if we run out of this, we can just get some more. And we're like, well, that costs money.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, how do they make money, you know? And so
well, and I mean, they don't have specific chores. I would say that I do feel like at this point in their lives, for sure, and especially Gaines, like she could definitely have some chores. They were consistently her things. Over the past year, we've worked really hard on different areas of our lives and improving different areas of our lives and working on consistency, predictability, routine, and all that. And I feel like that's a thing that is like in the mold of like working along the plan, but we haven't yet gotten to a point where we've felt confident, or I haven't, to like commit to follow through and be the one to make sure they're doing their chores. And I don't want to start something with them until I'm ready to like, and I mean, like, they're expected to, like, pick up stuff and do that and take their plates to the sink and all that stuff. But I'm saying as far as, like, okay, it's your job to feed the dog every day. That's your chore.
And check it off. And I think Katie's got a little calendar here that's, like, Velcro and dry erase marker. But, like, implementing something like this as a chore list, too, would be real helpful.
I actually bought one. You haven't even seen it. It was at the Dollar Tree, and we haven't used it yet.
So yeah, that's in the future. Y'all stay tuned.
Yes.
And then... what do we got here? Are there any circumstances that could happen where you would have another child?
So this is to cover all the 50,000 questions that said, are you going to have more kids? If you haven't heard, no, we don't plan to have more kids. And I just, any circumstances that could happen where you would have another child, if there is some type of accidental insemination, I don't know. Like, no, though. I mean, I just, no, not really.
Y'all stay tuned. Our next live stream will be from the vasectomy center. We need to get that taken care of, actually.
It's been on your list.
It's been on my list, but I don't want to be out of commission for 2 weeks if we have to move.
It is like a day and a half. 2 days for every time.
How do you do it? Have 2 amazing kids, do YouTube, housework, stuff. I'm struggling. Oh my gosh.
So the answer to this is that we don't do it. Like, we don't do it all. And I feel like this is something, it was in, what was it that I was just listening to? Girl, Stop Apologizing, I think is, in Rachel Hollis's that book. She talks about how, like, people in the public eye don't often talk about the help that they have, or don't often talk about the fact that they don't do it all. And we try to be pretty real about that stuff. And definitely, like, our kids are in school right now, and we had to take this on as like, okay, this is a job. If we were going to an office from 8 to 5, what would we do with our kids? Like, if that were the situation. So how are we going to handle that now? And, you know, last year when they were in school less days, we had a babysitter 1 day a week that would keep the kids. And then my mom would keep the kids 1 day a week. And we had somebody that helped cleaning our house, which we don't right now because we're doing that kind of ourselves as we're moving and trying to move, and we're not actually moving right now, but we're, you know, showing our house and all that. We had help with that. And as far as YouTube, there was a period of time where we had somebody that edited for us because it was a point in life where we couldn't. Like,
has that ever been like public knowledge?
I don't know. Oh, did I just spill some beans?
You probably spilled some beans.
Whoops.
But it's good.
No, I mean,
maybe I did talk about it on the podcast.
I think you may have, and I think it's like, it's so, I don't know, I still am trying to get over my mental issue about our kids being in like school,
the
or
guilt.
They're in preschool where they're learning stuff. Gaines is in kindergarten, but the guilt of the very first year that we went, Gaines was like a year and a half, or she had just turned a year old, and we were looking into Mother's Day Out, which here is like 9 to 1, like it's 4 hours out of a day. We were looking at putting her there 1 day a week for 4 hours, literally 4 hours out of the entire week. And we got so much hate on that video, and people were like questioning.
Work from home? How did you do
I will say that I try my best. Like, I usually let things
it's
kind
hard
of go
to
past me.
understand what we go through.
But that just really got to me, and I was like, oh, maybe we are terrible parents. And it was the whole like, well, I thought you did this so you could stay home with your kids, and if you're not going to stay home with your kids, then why are you, I'm like, it's 4 hours out of the week. And so we didn't even put her in there that first year. And I remember feeling like I wished we had, because that would have been a few hours that we could have, gotten work done or whatever. And I felt like, well, shoot, I guess then now I can't pursue any like goals or, whatever I need to do. So anyways, I'm honestly like still trying to get past the fact of those initial comments, and I've come a long way, and I feel like it's fine. But
well, let's be honest too. Like a lot of and this is some probably another topic for another stream, but like having kids having 2 kids under 5 is not the addiction stuff aside, is real stressful and strainful on the relationship too. And so having them out of the house and doing something structured, and us having I think routine is the biggest thing here that's helped with all this. But then being able to work on our relationship, ourselves first and foremost, and then our relationship, repair everything, and then relationship, repair, routine.
There you go, the 3 R's.
I don't know.
Yep. So I think a lot of that goes with other people's opinions of your life, and your decision is none of your business, which I've only learned in the past year, and I plan to talk about that soon.
But we put ourselves online live.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're welcome to their opinions, but that doesn't mean I have to feel guilty about it.
No.
That's fine. They can think that, but I trust myself enough to know that I'm doing the right thing. So there you go.
I didn't bleep that out.
This is not the Don't Tell Mom podcast.
Sorry. We're getting a little crazy up in here.
Okay.
Oh, if it's not too personal, how's your sobriety going, and what you stay sober from versus what you still do, if any? Sobriety's going great. January 13th was the last time I've ever done any type of illegal substance of any kind, or
recreational drugs.
Recreational drugs, yes.
I don't know.
We still have an occasional, or still have our. I was about to say occasional. Still have our, depending on the occasion, drinks on the weekend and that kind of thing. But that's not necessarily what we're talking about. Yeah, I think we've talked about it.
I think we talked about it in, I don't remember what it was we talked about that in, but it was, we filmed a podcast for your channel.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that too, about how. If you want to know all the details on that, you can go watch that. But yeah, we do still have alcoholic beverages on the weekends, but we have put some boundaries on it.
Don't
do that during the week.
Check it out. Go check it out. Right there.
Yes,
There's probably a link in the description. So, okay, last one, and we got to get out of here. We got to do some super chats.
This has been long.
We got to do some super chats
balls.
and then head out.
Okay.
How do you deal with anxiety in your pregnancies after losses? I'm 14 weeks after 3 losses. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I wanted to just really quickly address this. I hate to hear that for you, and I know the awful, I had a video called anxiety or something, or I wasn't able to enjoy it, and there were so many, I wish I might find that video and link it or something, because I remember the comments being so incredibly helpful to me on that video, and one of my main takeaways from that was that, the title of the video and my whole thing about the anxiety was that it was making me not able to enjoy the pregnancy because I was afraid to get excited. That's what the vlog was called. It was called Afraid to Get Excited.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was afraid to get excited because I didn't want to be disappointed. And then I realized that being worried about it and not allowing myself to get excited and enjoy the little things along the way wasn't going to change anything. It wasn't going to make the baby healthier, wasn't going to guarantee that the pregnancy would stay by me worrying about it, but it was going to take away from me enjoying this time. That's the only time you get being 14 weeks pregnant, being 15 weeks pregnant, whatever. And if something were to happen, you can look back and say, I enjoyed every minute that I had with that baby, with that pregnancy, and I didn't spend my whole time worrying about what's going to happen. Now, that does not mean that I was fully able to just be like, oh, cool, I won't worry anymore, because I definitely worried, but I tried to remember that it wasn't going to change anything by me worrying. I also got a Doppler, a home Doppler, where I could check the heartbeat. So if you're 14, 15 weeks, you should be able to do that at home, and that would give me a lot of relief to be able to hear the baby's heartbeat and know things were fine.
Yes, that was very close.
And that helped me really be able to enjoy it a lot more too. But yeah, there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Cool. Well,
this has been long. I hope y'all. We may have to.
Look at this, getting the super chat in right at the end here.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, CF1980 super chat.
What off subject? What was your reaction to the Alabama SC game? What's SC?
South Carolina.
Wait, that's next week.
Wait, that's hadn't been played yet.
Oh, I don't know.
Alabama. Who did they play last week? New Mexico State. You mean like what's coming?
Did we have a national championship? That was against
SEC championship.
We played New Mexico State, and then we played somebody else.
Give me some more context to that.
Sorry.
Give me some more context to that. That's my reaction right now. Like,
But thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that. I keep looking at the wrong camera.
No. It'll be
okay, how do you get them?
Just scroll back through it and look for them. I only saw one.
There went one.
And then another one was from Unknown. So thank you, Unknown Anonymous.
Thank you for that super chat.
Kelsey
Stevens,
yes.
thank you for the
thank
super
you,
chat.
She
How
is doing
Sophia?
good.
She is good.
Hanging in there, being crazy and bubbly. She's got a little personality on her.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelsey.
For sure.
Awesome. Okay.
Wait, I think, was there another? No, that was it.
It was Unknown.
Okay,
Yeah, the other one was Unknown.
All right, I just don't want to miss anybody.
Cool. Let me get this. Don't tell me.
Hey, Katie, the other Katie, she's in here.
There's Katie's everywhere.
My friend Katie.
Thank y'all for
I don't really know personally, but
joining us and taking the Enneagram. And I want to hear more about it. And those of y'all that are watching back and stuff. And
yes, yeah. Leave us comments if you're watching the replay of this. Leave us comments, and we will try to get back to those comments. We can't go back and like respond to the comments that were in the actual YouTube video. I mean, what is this live stream? So if you would like for us to answer a question or something, leave it in the comments, and we'll answer it.
Be sure to subscribe. Check all the links below because we'll have everything down there.
Instagram, Twitter, all the things. TikTok.
Lining up a very fun guest, hopefully on the next podcast for Don't Tell Mom. It's going to be exciting. We'll have to wait and see. Still waiting on some time stuff. But yeah, y'all check it out. And thanks for watching. This has been a long hour.
It has. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. If you stuck with us this long, then you get a cookie.
Get back to work, all you 6s and 9s and 8s and 4s.
Thank y'all for watching.
We will CYO.
TFOs.
Get your flips. Bye.